Welcome back to the Imaginary Gallery. This is TJ, your host, continuing from Jackson MacKenzie's book, Psychopath Free, Recovering from Emotionally Abusive Relationships with Narcissists, Sociopaths, and Other Toxic People. We're in the section of Identity Erosion, so stay tuned. Another of their talents is covert gossiping. And this is funny. When these psychopathic people, they claim to hate drama. But you'll slowly become aware of the fact that there's more drama surrounding this person's life than anyone else you've ever known. Imagine that. Now, of course, according to these people, none of this is their fault. People just love them too much, treat them badly, and always seem to go crazy around them. How unfair for them. But as we're starting to discover, that's not really the case. This creature is constantly provoking drama, rivalries, and competitions. What separates them from everyday drama queens is their ability to appear innocent in all of it. They make subtle suggestions and sit back and watch as others go down in flames for them. This is where the covert part comes into play. They plant little seeds of poison, whispering to everyone behind their back, idealizing them to their face, and then insulting them behind their back. Insulting doesn't really even capture the subtlety of a psychopath gossip. Instead of overtly trashing people, these creatures paint themselves as victims. Someone's always wronging them in one way or another. So instead of being a backstabbing gossiper, they come across a sympathetic victim of everyone else's bad behavior. At some point, you might even have felt special, being the one they chose to complain to. And again, that's how screwed up our standards have become. But then you end up on the receiving end of it. Suddenly, you're the villain, the one causing them all this pain and torment. This process begins in earnest once the relationship starts to unravel. They run back to the very same people they once complained about to you. Their evil ex they run back to and hang out with, using them to lament about how crazy you've become. This generates lots of sympathy, which is the perfect way to transition to the next target without anyone judging their blatant infidelity. During the relationship, you probably found yourself disliking and resenting people you'd never met. Could that have anything to do with this creature's constant suggestions that these people were all in love with them, wanted them, abused them, or were jealous of you? Over time, this builds up so much negativity and envy, more than you'd experience in any healthy relationship. And the sad part is, this same negativity is also felt towards you by everyone else. Sure, friends and exes might smile to your face, just like you do to theirs, but deep down everyone's under the psychopath spell and harboring this growing resentment towards each other. And it's not for any legitimate reason. It's because you've been turned against each other. You're all just movable pawns in the game for this creature that they play for attention and drama. They keep each target far enough apart so that you can't compare notes, but close enough that you're always on edge and unsure of where you stand. Great people. As impossible as it might seem while you're still involved with these types of people, all of them are probably perfectly nice human beings like you. They've just been poisoned and brainwashed to believe the worst about everyone else. Most empathetic partners are excited to befriend their partner's friends and make a positive impression. That was probably true at the beginning of the relationship, but as the triangulation and gossip worsened, you started to experience more and more negative emotions. Perhaps you blamed yourself, believing you were becoming an unrecognizable mess of jealousy and resentment. This is what happens when you enter the psychopath's reality. All of their gossip and lies start to distort your own reality, because here are the two realities you must choose from. Number one, this creature is normal. Everyone else is jealous, ill-intentioned, and self-serving. Or number two, this creature is jealous, ill-intentioned, and self-serving. Everyone else is normal. During the idealization and love bombing, we favor option number one. It feels incredible, so we begin to define a new reality around our new soulmate. They're wonderful, everyone else is wonderful. Life is good. But then the covert gossip begins, and that's when our reality starts to shift. In order to continue living in the dream reality, where the monster is honest and good, all their gossip must be true. All these other people must be jealous, evil, ill-intentioned, and self-serving, because if that's not true, then that means this person's a liar, gossiper, and manipulator. The stronger this reality becomes, the harder it is to break away from it. It really does start to feel like all these people are against you. And that's exactly how you're supposed to feel, because then your entire sense of happiness is dependent upon this creature. What's more, maintaining a false reality requires that you make a lot of excuses and explanations that keep you on the defensive and in denial. And this is an extremely effective distraction and destabilizer from the frightening truth that your idealizer is actually your enemy. During the breakup and recovery, we're ripped away from option number one, which was really just a fictitious fantasy, and we're faced with reality. We feel devastated, empty, and hopeless. Without that fantasy, we've lost everything. We've lost the most important, wonderful partner in the world. On top of that, everyone else is untrustworthy and toxic. We have nobody and nothing. But of course, when we start to put these pieces together and experience small moments of trust with the people around us, this is when a constant can truly change your life. We see how we feel around someone who treats us well. We notice the freedom in spending time with somebody who's not judging, triangulating, or spreading ridiculous lies. Eventually, we start to place the negativity where it really belongs instead of shifting it onto everybody else. And finally, it all falls into place. Reality number two strengthens. The first option doesn't seem to make sense anymore. It never was you and your partner against the world. It was only your partner against you. You begin to find peace and feel compassion towards people you once disliked. The cognitive dissonance lessens as you spend more time in the proper reality, away from this creature's web of lies. Your natural mercy and empathy return to you. Manufactured paranoia transforms into genuine trust. And at long last, the distractions are gone, so that you can turn your focus to the real problem.
Do you remember when you told me you didn't like your mother? Well, I met her. And do you recall, about a week later, you said something or did something, and I said, you sound just like your mother. And you threw a fit. You screamed at me and dropped the egg carton on the floor so the egg yolks went everywhere. Well, honey, when you did that, I knew that I had my strategy. Of course, I fake apologized and told you I wanted nothing to go wrong between us, and you bought it. Well, do you recall later when you started to find out about my other lovers behind your back? Well, I couldn't stand for that.
I would repeatedly tell you, well, that again sounds just like your mother. You sound just like your mama. You're a chip off the old block. And what did it do? It pressed your button in and you screamed, you shrieked. You called me the most horrible names in the book. And I felt so wonderful because all I did afterwards was go to your stupid friends and tell them how abusive you were and the names you called me. Now, of course, I didn't mention that I said anything about your mother. I just told them how unstable you were. And that's all it took. And they deserted you, didn't they? Didn't they?
They tried to make me go to rehab. I said, no, no, no. Yes, I've been bad way. I couldn't go, no, no, no.